All right, everybody, welcome back. And well, I guess I'm back too because yes, I was in Hawaii. No, I don't announce it because, well, there's no reason to tell the entire world that my house is not occupied. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, I am back. And yes, yeah, I do have a warped sense of humor. And I am wearing my awesome sauce shirt today by Dan Golden. Thank you, from a while ago. But anyway, this kind of end of the year is kind of an awesome sauce because, well, we got a lot of things right in our predictions throughout the year. And we're going to go through some of those. But really, at the end of the day, the question is, hey, how in the world did we get 28% more pended sales than inventory coming on market? Huh. How did that happen? Well, let's just delve right into that. So let's take a look at our first chart. Well, it's not really a chart, but anyway, it says, listen, hey, pended home sales stayed sideways near record lows. Not unexpected because we have been kind of sideways the whole year. But is that a surprise? No, it's not. Why? Well, because if you're watching the channel, you would have known we would have only seen about a 3 to 5% appreciation in home values this year, which we said was going to be really flat in some areas. Well, most areas, but 3 to 4%, 4 to 5% in others as far as actual appreciation. So just very, very low, very flat, not the double-digit appreciation that we've been seeing in other areas. So when we pop back and we take a look at the other chart, yep, Fannie Mae, or not Fannie Mae, but the FHFA, the Federal Housing Finance Agency, increased loan limits to $776,000. In our area, we're actually looking at closer to about $1 million, and that is based on the income of the area, and they do their mathematical calculations, come up with a good number. And so we talk about conforming versus jumbo and things like that. We're going to hit that a little bit later, but that's super important because guess what? Rates came down. As predicted, rates came down in December, and that spurred a wee bit of activity. Now understand, we have consistently seen pended sales higher than new on market in our area. Now listen, I know there's gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of people out there saying, the sky's falling. And it could very well be in their area. But look, we are in the Puget Sound area. That is where we do our reporting. We report on single family only, condos, multifamily, vacant land. Those are all different reports. They have no relevance to single family homes. And so therefore we give you that constant metric because that's the bulk of what people are interested in. All right, let's move on. So when we take a look at the next bit of information here, 30-year fixed is down to 6.67%. It's actually a little bit lower now. Stay with the call or with the video here. We're going to see some information a little bit later and some people for you to call. Anyway, that is pretty amazing considering we were at like 7.8% about 45, 60 days ago. And people were panicking because, oh my gosh, are we going to hit 8%? And we didn't, even though it was right on the edge. There's a lot of things. What we said to pay attention to was the pivot. And that is exactly what the Feds did. They did very much a pivot because they stopped raising rates. They stopped increasing the federal rate basically back in November. They didn't do any increases. And in fact, they said, hey, in 2024, we're going to actually start doing some minimum of 3 rate cuts. Understand, minimum of 3 is a key term that you must understand. That means that at least 3, if not more, in 25 basis points. 25 basis point is 0.25%. Now remember, the Feds do not control mortgage rates, but they affect mortgage rates. And that is a super important thing. Watch your 10-year treasury because the 30-year mortgage rates and the treasuries follow each other very, very closely. They're not tied together, but funny enough, they follow each other very, very well. Anyway, so when we take a look at what's going to go on with some of these rates in 2024, what to expect in 2024, we're going to go over that in a couple of days when we do a recap of all of this, and we'll break that up into a couple of videos so that you can only watch what's important to you. Anyway, moving on, because it's awesome sauce to know in real time what's going on and in reality, right? So if we take our next chart here, let's open that back up. Hang on a second. So when we take a look at it, we can see that even year over year, our numbers are amazingly well. Look at this. Current year to date, even though we're down 26, almost 27% on total inventory, number of sold homes is down 23%, 19% on Pended. But look at this. In the month of December, we're almost at the end of the month of December here, right? You can see we're almost 15% more Pended sales. And a lot of that is because we saw a significant decrease in mortgage rates. And we're seeing year end. In fact, new construction absolutely killed it because we're also seeing a lot of, well, we're seeing a ramp up of new permits. Builders, they're always looking out 6 months to a year, 2 years, and adjusting their schedules accordingly, sometimes as far out as 5 years, depending on how big a plat is and what area, the impact of developments in an area that they're going to look at. All right. So when we head on and we hit our next chart here, let's dial into this one. Look at this. So we can see that our year to date is at basically we're under 12.2%, but Pended sales are up 20%. 20%. And then when you take a look at the same month year over year, which is the center chart there, look at that. Everything is basically up for the month of December. Why? Hey, listen, you've got corporate sellers, the big box sellers, your D.R. Hortons, your Pulte, your Lennar, said D.R. Horton. Anyway, I forgot a few of them. Anyway, see what happens when you go on vacation? Anyway, they have to report to shareholders, Toll Brothers, when you TriStar, when you have to report to shareholders, you have to get products sold. You can't just say, I think I'll pause. I think we're just going to pause for a little bit. Let's just see how this shakes out. You can't do that. It's like automakers. They can't do that. They have to keep that machine running. They have to keep ka-chunk, 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 pushing those things through because they are beholden to shareholders. Now, we have seen, okay, I didn't see the double-digit appreciation, but we did see a very gradual. We didn't see this. We saw just a little bit of this. In fact, probably more like that. So if you're on the treadmill, you're like on a 1% versus like 5%. Okay, that's a big deal. And for those that get on a treadmill, say I can relate to that. Real estate went up at a 1 degree on the treadmill, and versus in the past we were at 5-6 degrees. And if you've ever run that, then you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Let's come back. So when we take a look at new construction absolutely hit it off the park, especially with Pended's up 43 basically almost 47 or 44% the same month of December. That's pretty impressive. Bank owned, no change at all. It's going to take a little bit. So remember, excuse me, the end of November, the CARES Act came to an end. So we are seeing the normal increase or uptick in notice of trustee sales. And understand that our numbers are super, super low as far as foreclosures, super, super low. And we don't get that many. In fact, most of them are more in Snohomish County. We do see a couple in Seattle. I don't think we have, in fact, as of today, we didn't have any on the east side at all. And then down south, you'll see some, and that's not uncommon. But in I would consider the more higher demographic areas, there's nothing there. And we don't see many in those areas. And even still, for having 60, throughout the half of Washington state, almost the entire state of Washington, that's like peanuts. All right. That is like negligible. And that's why they're not a great deal to buy. Some people say, oh, I spoke to a guy and he's like, nope, I only want foreclosures. That's dumb. I told him, well, it's not the smartest option if you're looking for a good value or a value add building. You should be looking at fixers. You should be looking at homes that need updating because there's more of them, and two, there's a higher probability you're going to find a home in the next year because our foreclosures, they're just not there. And they're watching and reading some of these people that are saying, oh, foreclosures are up 92,000%. I don't know where that is. Nationwide, our foreclosures are super low. Sure, there's going to be some areas where we're going to see higher defaults, but it's not our area. And that's all that matters unless you're buying in Dallas or, Texas someplace or parts of Florida and Ohio and Detroit. And if you're going to buy homes there, all the more power to you. And sure, you can probably find something. It's a long ways from here. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. All right, moving on. When we take a look at the average sold, let me blow this thing up for you. Okay, this is super important. Okay, this is basically from September of last year to November of this year to show you that the red is the average sold price and the green is the average, list price. Okay, or homes for sale price average. And when you look at it, you can see that we've crossed over a couple of times, being the last couple of, say 45, 60 days, really 45 days, you can see that transitioned significantly to where our sales prices have gone up, even though the new on market or the average list price is significantly lower. Not unexpected, okay? Listen, we can't use the term supply and demand, but I can use the term inventory and demand, okay? Because supply and inventory, those are sometimes two different things. But let's talk about inventory. When our inventory is really 41% of what it was pre-pandemic levels, even 28% year over year, when you take a look at how low we are, it's actually 24% lower than we were. If you don't have the homes to sell, okay, other than off-market sales and things like that, which are they're just not as prevalent because the MLS, multiple listing service, is truly the best way. You go to the grocery store to get your groceries. You don't most of the time go to somebody on the side of the road to get your can of soup and everything else, right? You go to a grocery store. That's the benefit of the MLS. So when we take a look at it, it's truly one of the better metrics and the better place to put your home in as far as a advertising opportunity. But when that is such a small amount, okay, and you still have a massive pent-up demand, our inventory levels are just struggling. In fact, we're down to 7,000 homes as of yesterday, where we should be in the 18,000 homes, okay? And we're not. We're like 10,000 homes short of where we should be. All right. Awesome. Not really. That would be not awesome sauce. Anyway, moving on. So when we take a look at what's going on, what has been a driving factor here? Look, when we're starting to see rates come into here, and this is why you need to watch the 5 questions you need to watch the 5 questions to ask when getting a mortgage loan, because this is a classic example when you take a look at this, because those rates are pretty staggering, but the loan amount is $300,000. Well, there's some areas that will do that, but when our median price here is about $750,000, $780,000, it doesn't really work out. That's called, kind of unless somebody's reading, it's kind of false advertising, right? It's kind of deceiving. But when you even take a look at the Fed rate, look, 6.6, that's a phenomenal rate, right? Is it going to continue to come down? It might continue to come down. Yes, I do expect that, especially as the Fed start doing some easing, and we will get into why they did it and why they took a boom. They didn't just change directions on the chain. Man, they got the train going the other way. And the reason is that there's a lot of demographics or economic numbers that are coming to light, including the $1 trillion of commercial lending that need to change. Well, they need to refinance, not change, but refinance. And with lending rates so high up and bankruptcies with companies on the rise and have been, and employment rates starting to drop a little bit, except for in our area, we're holding pretty tough. Hey, listen, that has a big impact. And so they need to, if they want to go to a soft landing instead of a hard bam landing, which then that is exactly where we're heading, which benefits buyers and sellers. As rates come down, people start pulling more inventory off. rates the home prices start escalating, and that is very consistent for almost every single recession. Actually, I think it is every recession we've ever had. Mortgage rates come down, real estate values go up, buyers come out of the woodwork. All right, just saying. All right, let's move on. Okay, here's another chart. Look at the pricing here. If you guys want to know who's offering some of these pretty phenomenal rates between 6.25, 6.5, 6 5/8, reach out to us. Just give us either a quick call, leave a note down there. You can reach out to our office. We'll send you that list. No, I'm not going to hunt you down. I'll just send you the list because there are 3 or 4 really that you should contact. But depending on what price point you're at. As an example, if you're looking for jumbos, hey man, you need to talk to Dan, you need to talk to Julie, maybe even Snall. If you're looking at some of the lower price points, direct you a different place who focus on those types of loans. Anyway, with that being said, if, however, you absolutely love super accurate information on your real estate market, hey, listen, man, it's super simple. What do? You smash that subscribe button. You pulverize it. Why? Because there's no selling here. You just get some really great information, and that is what this is about. Get really solid information so you can make the best business decision for you and your family. Now, we're going to be working on the 2023 metrics. How did we show out? More importantly, what people really actually care about at the end of the day. What should we expect? What is 2024 going to look like? What is 2025 going to look at? Look, when you have 70% of our mortgaged population at or below 4.5%, look, it's going to take something different for those folks to come to the table. And what are the alternatives? How are we going to be able to navigate enough inventory for the pent-up demand, especially when we're going to see mortgage rates coming down as the Fed rates also drop their rates? It's going to be 3 hinged points that we'll discuss on that. In the meantime, have an absolutely fabulous day. So we'll let out there right now. More importantly, Happy New Year to you and your family. We wish you all the best, and I will see you on the next video. All right, take care.